Thank you very much for watching the CEFROHT Cafeteria. My name is Monica Nabyonga. Welcome to yet another episode. You can go to our YouTube channel, like, subscribe, share, and also give us a comment on what you would like us to speak about on this CEFROHT Cafeteria. Today, as I told you in the previous episode, that in this episode we shall be speaking to a lawyer. And here we are with Counsel Joan Kembabazi. Counsel, you're most welcome to the CEFROHT Cafeteria.
Thank you so much, Monica. It's great to be here. I can't wait for the discussions today.
Okay. Counsel, in our previous episode, we had Dr. David Kavanda. Dr. David Kavanda made a statement here that left me in pieces. And I know even our viewers, they are still in pieces. He said industrial trans fatty acids, or these are liquids that are turned into solids at room temperature, have no known health benefits. He actually said that most countries out there have banned partially hydrogenated oils and have gotten a regulation on industrial trans fatty acids. So, Counsel, we want to begin from there. What is the legal framework in Uganda that talks about industrial trans fatty acids?
Thank you so much, Monica, for that question. The legal framework, first of all, that governs industrially produced trans fatty acids is global.
Okay.
So that is how serious the problem is. That the World Health Organization, in its 13th program, came up with what they call the global elimination of industrially produced trans fatty acids from the world food supply. So that means the World Health Organization sat down. They looked at the numbers of people that were dying because of consumption of industrially produced trans fatty acids. And they called for the global elimination as a response to the numbers of people that were dying. And just to give you a picture, according to the World Health Organization, almost 19 million people die every year due to cardiovascular-related diseases. Globally, 19 million people. Out of the 19 million people, more than 500,000 deaths globally are attributed to high consumption of these industrially produced trans fatty acids. This is, I think, what Dr. Kavanda was talking about. Yeah. Every time you see a fat, because fats are supposed to melt, oils are supposed to remain liquid at room temperature. Every time you see a fat, whether it's a margarine, that maintains its solid texture at room temperature without melting, there's a problem with that fat. So what that does, what those fats usually do, when consumed, they increase what they call the bad cholesterol in the body. The scientists know better. These bad cholesterols are the highest contributors of cardiovascular-related complications. They clog arteries. If you went and had a scan of your artery right now, you'll realize over time, and the problem with these fats is that they don't kill you in a day. It is gradual. So these fats will clog or continue building on the sides of your veins until they cause many cardiovascular-related diseases, or what people call the diseases of the heart.
Okay, Counsel Joan, when you say diseases of the heart, what do you mean?
Diseases of the heart are what they call cardiovascular-related diseases. You can think about high blood pressure, you can think about stroke, anything that comes from the complication of the heart, paralysis, if you've looked at people that suffer paralysis, all this is related to cardiovascular-related diseases. So I've given you the global picture by World Health Organization. In the Ugandan context, 28,000 people, Ugandans, die every year from cardiovascular-related diseases.
28,000?
28,000. Out of those 28,000, 6,000 are children. Every year from cardiovascular-related diseases. So when you see the World Health Organization coming in to regulate something or to declare a global elimination, and by the way, the World Health Organization gave countries a cap. They said by 2023, no country should still have industrially produced trans fatty
But
acids.
Council, here we are,
on the market.
2026, and Uganda,
Yes.
we've done nothing.
Yes, I wouldn't say we've not done anything, but I think we don't have a law or a regulation in place as has been recommended, and that has been at the cost of very many Ugandans. According to the statistics from the Uganda Heart Institute, 1 out of every 4 people has a cardiovascular related disease that they may not know about. So count 1, 2, 3, 4 people, 1 person has a heart disease that they are not yet aware about. And they actually say 80% of Ugandans don't know that they have a heart-related complication until they are eventually admitted. And this includes children, this includes youth, this includes mothers, and this includes everybody. Uganda is losing their workforce. Parent will invest money in a child from kindergarten.
Yes.
The child grows, goes through primary, secondary school, campus, university, and then just as they are starting to work in their prime years, their most energetic years, suddenly the person develops high blood pressure, and within a year or two, the person has been buried. So that is the realistic situation that we have.
Okay. Council, just last year and I think around 2024, we had many cases of university students dying abruptly. Like someone has not been sick. Just out of the blue, you find someone in their hostel room. Someone has passed on. Could actually this be the problem?
Yes, not conclusively, but a lot of what they call someone slid in the bathroom and fell is usually related to stroke or maybe a fat, because scientists have shown that sometimes from those clogged arteries, a fat can break off at any point without any trigger, and it will go block a blood vessel in your body. Suddenly blood can't go through, and you'll end up with stroke or paralysis, and you will drop to your death in no minute. So maybe going back to the legal framework, I was just giving a background as to why the World Health Organization had to come in and regulate.
You said the deadline was 2023?
The deadline was 2023.
Okay.
And of course, the question from countries was, okay, you want us to come up with laws, but what is the process? Where do we start? And the World Health Organization came up with a guide that we call the WHO Replace Action Package. Okay. Replace is an acronym. It's not a word in itself. It says, for example, the RE says countries should first of all review what products they have on the market. And then P stands for promote awareness. L stands for legislate. So you see that coming up with a law is just one component of what WHO is recommending. A means assess, O stands for assess. Assess the market after regulating. Has there been a change? C, create awareness. And this is why we have this podcast today. Yeah. And then E is enforce compliance. Okay. That where a regulation is in place, but manufacturers are continuing to release these things that have no health benefits, but causing the death of people, then countries have to come up with a way to enforce compliance. But even when Uganda does not have a regulation right now, we still have a lot of legal frameworks that we can rely on.
Like which one?
We have the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, Article 11, that specifically provides for the right to health. We have the Constitution of Uganda. Objective 22 says that states shall come in and protect and promote awareness on nutrition. We have Article 22 on the right to life, because we are discussing deaths today, but government, everyone has a right to life, and government has a responsibility to come in and make sure everyone's right to health is protected. We have Article 33 on the rights of mothers or rights of women. The state has to come in and protect women as a special category. We have children. We're talking about how many children are dying in schools because they are the highest consumers of these fats. Article 34. We have Article 41 on the right to access information. People are consuming these things because they don't know. What has the government done to come up or to release this information to the public?
But is the government complying to this? Is the government fulfilling its mandate, Council?
As it is now, I think, first of all, I want to mention that CEFROHT is already working with Ministry of Health to come up with a regulation.
Okay.
Worldwide, more than 60 countries have complied. At least by 2026, 63 countries globally had come up with a regulation banning ITFs, or at least limiting ITFs or banning PHOs. But in Africa, only 2 countries so far, that is Nigeria and South Africa.
Okay.
So Africans are still dying due to this.
So should we expect that Uganda could be the 3rd country in Africa?
Not just Uganda, at least we know that Kenya is working on their regulation as it is currently.
Okay.
Tanzania is working on their regulation. Rwanda is working on their regulation, and Uganda should not be left out because 28,000 people that's a very big number to lose every year.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Council, you've spoken of the government's legal mandate, and here I am with a question. We've seen on some labels, you can find in the process of preparation of that snack maybe, they say partially hydrogenated oils. And then when you go to the ingredients list, it is saying 0 grams of oils. Council, as a person, as a layman, mwananchi, do I have the mandate maybe to sue the manufacturer or to sue the government? And who is failing us actually there?
You have the mandate, first of all, to sue the manufacturer. I would say you go for the manufacturer first, because government, when it comes to the right to health and the right to adequate food, in law there's what we call the progressive realization of these rights, that states are given a leeway or a certain period of time to implement, because they understand that there are many competing priorities in terms of government efforts. So as we are pushing for this, some people want roads, other people want hospitals and all that. So usually courts will allow government a certain period to do what? To implement, as long as they can show that progressive steps are being taken, that government is not folding its arms, something is being done every year. So I would say, but when it comes to the manufacturers, first of all, because they know, they know. Manufacturers are not ignorant. In a lot of our discussions, people say, but why don't you bring the food industry, the manufacturers, and you sit with them and teach them these things? They know. I want to tell all Ugandans is that the people manufacturing these things actually know that these things are not good for you. But their priority is not your health. Their priority is their efforts and to make sure that their companies grow and that they are running.
Okay. Council, still talking about those partially hydrogenated oils, I've realized that, for example, when you talk of margarine, food shortenings, these things don't come from Uganda, are not manufactured actually here. They come from other countries and they are just imported here. So should we say that the gap is with the government, the gap is with the manufacturer? Because you find that when they enter the country, of course, there are taxes that are being collected. Yes.
Yeah, I want to mention something about that. That has been a constant question. Every time it comes to regulating manufacturers or coming up with these laws, the first question is, what is government going to lose in terms of taxes? What are we really losing as a country? But first of all, I want to mention that this is an industry tactic. It is the food, like I said, the food industry knows.
Yes.
So as we are here planning for a regulation, they've also convened and they are planning for a what? A counter narrative. How are they going to come back from this? So this is a tactic, and they will always say, you see, if you regulate us, government is going to lose taxes. But a study was done that showed that for every $1 that government benefits in taxes, it will lose $15 through the economic and healthcare burden. Okay. I'll give an example of the statistics from the Uganda Heart Institute. The statistics show, and this we had a training with the executive director, and we've been working with the Uganda Heart Institute on this project. And they said government invests 60 billion Uganda shillings every year, just as government to treat cardiovascular related.
60 billion.
60 billion. And out of that 60 billion, 5 billion US dollars in trying to treat patients abroad. Okay. So even when you collect, just imagine one family member who needs a heart transplant in India. How much? Because people would do drives, one could cost maybe like 500 million. So just imagine how much is government earning in taxes in relation to how much they are spending in treating Ugandans because of what these manufacturers are bringing. So although there's a narrative that most of them are imported, yes, some are imported, but there are also those that have been manufactured here. And CEFROHT has a research team that has been conducting that research, and will be launching that research, and Ugandans will see that actually we have a lot of ITFA products here.
Okay, Council, if I want to join this campaign, because what you've explained, it really touches me as a person. Because in most cases, as Ugandans, we have this tendency, and things to do like that. Even actually before, we used to think that cardiovascular diseases are diseases of the rich and the elderly, but the narrative is changing. So which government agencies are responsible to see that this regulation comes in place and it is being enforced?
I would say all government agents, but as it is now, as CEFROHT, we are working with Ministry of Health. We are working with the Uganda Heart Institute. They've been very supportive in terms of data and research. We are working, recently our research team has been working with the Uganda Revenue Authority, just trying to assess how much we earn as a country from these products and compare it to how much we are losing. We've been working with the UNBS, Ministry of Trade. So I would say all stakeholders have to come on board. Okay. To at least pick something they can do, whether it's creating awareness, whether it's enforcement. We've been working with media. We've been working with the Uganda Law Society to come up with a cohort of lawyers that can hold government, manufacturers, and everyone responsible, accountable. We've been working with Ministry of Justice. Yes, because we also need them on board in terms of drafting the regulation and helping us come up with a regulation that will be comprehensive enough to help Ugandans.
Okay. But do all those agencies really understand this, what we're talking about?
Yes.
The dangers mostly.
Yes, we've been having a lot of stakeholder engagements in terms of making sure this regulation comes to life. And people's knowledge is growing every day. Okay. Yeah, but for most of these, for example, the Uganda Heart Institute, it's like preaching to the converted, because they know the dangers associated with ITFs, and there's a reason they are also supporting that regulation needs to come in place.
Okay. I wouldn't want to ask you this, but of course, now I know our viewer there would be interested to know how far are we as Uganda Council
in developing the regulation. Yes. Our target, together with Ministry of Health and the Uganda Heart Institute and all the stakeholders that I've mentioned, is to have this regulation in place by December this year.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of work is being done behind the curtains, and our hope is that by December this year we shall have a regulation. This regulation is not targeted towards you who wants to eat cake or who wants to eat fried foods, but it's targeted towards the manufacturer, because we know that there's always a knowledge gap, but as long as the manufacturer has been regulated to only put what is healthy on the market, then in that way the consumer is protected.
All right. Thank you very much, Councillor Joanne. Maybe your last remarks before we say bye-bye to our viewers.
My last remarks is that my last statement was that there's a knowledge gap. How is this knowledge gap addressed? We need what we call the front of pack warning regulations. Let someone go to the supermarket and pick a product and eat it knowing that this product is killing them.
Okay.
But it's unfair for manufacturers to hide information because it's scientific, it's
A lot
technical,
of technicalities.
and just put a table that they know someone will never be able to interpret, and then someone will go and pick and eat without knowing that this thing is killing them.
Okay.
So my parting shots is that we need the front of pack warning labels. It has been implemented in many countries, including Kenya. Let Ugandans also walk to a supermarket and know that if I'm picking this product, it's excess in sugar, excess in salt, or excess in fat.
Okay. Thank you very much, our viewers. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for watching the CEFROHT Cafeteria. In our next episode, we shall be digging deeper into what Council actually has just hinted on, the front of pack warning labels. We want to understand is what we are having currently and what the Council has talked about. Is what we have the front of pack, or we are just having something that is related to. All right, my name is Monica Nabyonga. Keep tuned into the CEFROHT Cafeteria. Watch us on YouTube and also on Spotify. Like, subscribe, share, and also give us a comment on what you would like us to expound on. Thank you for watching us. Bye-bye.